Hey everyone, it's Heather here with Her Wellbeing Ayurveda and Yoga. And today I'll be taking you through the full moon astrology in Aries. So this is a full moon. This is the apex of the lunar cycle, which is when the energy of the moon is at its peak. This is a celebration of the divine feminine, creativity, and life in general. And the full moon is associated with ovulation. It's a magical time when the moon's energy is at its peak. This can be a time full of intensity, emotions, passion, vitality, and it's a great time to connect with your feelings and intuition, to express yourself, find different ways to express yourself, celebrate the divine femininity, celebrate abundant life. It's a great time to take full moon baths by candlelight meditation, or moon walks at night. A few pieces of information about this moon. It is another super moon and partial eclipse. So October's super moon is the closest full moon of the year. It will appear 14% bigger and 30% brighter because it is closer. Its orbit is the closest all year, and it's 30,000 miles closer than usual, so that does make a difference. It's one of 4 super moons this year, and next month's is also a super moon in November. This is the hunter's moon. This is the first full moon after the fall equinox, at a time when people are hunting and gathering food and preparing for the winter moons ahead, and this is specific to the northern hemisphere. The partial eclipse happens when the earth positions itself between the sun and the moon, but they're not perfectly aligned, so just a part of the moon will be obscured. In Vedic astrology, the moon, it symbolizes the mind, your emotional state, mental state, your morale. It also symbolizes abundance, creativity, and maternal love or feelings. If the moon is well positioned in your birth chart, then you'll enjoy positive results in life and you'll be emotionally, mentally happy. The focus is on Aries. Aries is a cardinal fire sign ruled by Mars, the red planet. So this is the Pitta dosha that is strongest with Aries, with Mars. It rules the solar plexus chakra, or it's associated with. So this is our center, our energy center of power and control and action. It rules the first house, and this is the house that represents the overall health of the body and the mind system. It is the physical self that we manifest in the world, that we show up with. And it is seen as a malefic celestial being, in that it can be destructive if it is poorly placed in your chart. In general, it's really all about action, energy, and this warrior spirit. Many strengths of Aries, including they are self-directed, they're born leaders, they're courageous, competitive, they are fighters, especially for justice, for freedom. They have a pioneering spirit. They're very adventurous, and they can be childlike as well, in a good way. If you watched a child play, sometimes they can be fearless because they don't know what to be afraid of yet. So this really is the Aries spirit. Many weaknesses as well here. They can be adversarial, aggressive, impatient, uncooperative, impulsive, selfish, reckless. And there's that word impulsive again. So I guess I just wanted to stress that they can make rash decisions. Many opportunities with an Aries full moon, not just for Aries natives, but anyone feeling the strong presence of Mars. And so it's an opportunity to get things done. This is a time to act and, check some things off of your to-do list. And to do so without stepping on toes. Try to let go of your agenda and the outcome of your efforts. Think of others and try to be in service to others. So in other words, think of others, not just yourself. However, I can also say here that if you're usually thinking of others first and that's your default, this is a great full moon energy to put the spotlight on you and to grab some attention and what you really believe in, and that would be appropriate for this full moon. There are some threats with the Aries full moon, especially for Aries natives, Mars natives. The other Mars native is Scorpio. So there can be too much aggression and intensity, and this can introduce inflammation into the body-mind system, causing inflammatory symptoms showing up in the mind, in the body. And speaking of the body, we can look at Aries and what Aries rules in the cosmic body and also in the human body. It rules the head and the brain. So you want to protect the head and the brain from becoming overheated. Aries have a tendency for headaches, tension headaches, also tension in the neck and the soul and the shoulder region. So these are all places where Aries can hold onto a lot of tension and also excess heat. So we want to protect ourselves from too much heat or tension that comes from this intense energy. Aries rules the eyes, so take a break from screens, rest your eyes. Electronics give on synthetic heat that can cause dryness, red eyes, tired eyes, so just take a break, protect the eyes. The adrenals as well. Stress and high cortisol levels and adrenaline levels can tax the adrenals. And that causes an imbalance, and it can create, when there's too much of these stress hormones in the adrenals, because they do help to produce cortisol, but there can be too much. And then what can be caused are things like anxiety or depression, right? So we have mood disorders here. We have fatigue, headaches, high blood pressure, muscle tension, like I've mentioned before, sleep disturbances, and weight gain as well, because the adrenals control metabolic function, and they also control or have something to do with immune function, which is why when we get really stressed, we can be vulnerable to illness. Moving on, a few yoga tips here. So the invitation is to cultivate this fiery pitta energy in a balanced way. Strong, stable poses, balancing poses without pushing the limits. So don't be afraid to be adventurous too. So bring this childlike curiosity and adventurous spirit to your yoga mat and maybe do something a little differently. Try to maintain a cool head, and this means not doing too many headstands, headstands, maybe not holding for a long time. Even forward folds, standing forward folds will put a lot of circulation towards the head, so that can be heating. And then we want to create a non-judgmental awareness around our practice as well. So take out the intensity, take out the competitive nature, and just be in the practice in this more soft awareness mentality. You can also cultivate the solar plexus chakra with Aries yoga. That's the chakra that is aligned with Aries. This is our place of inner strength and power, also identity and strong held beliefs. So you can cultivate the solar plexus, which is governed by a fiery energy, without overdoing it. So maybe not a heated yoga class, maybe a gently heated yoga class, but cultivating that solar plexus chakra so that you can feel, you can connect with your inner strength and power, again, without burning out, without taxing the adrenals. I love moon salutations for fire signs like Aries, instead of, some of these more intense poses. There are softer, more grounding poses like yoga squats and low lunges, crescent moon postures. And then we have strong standing postures like the warrior poses, and working with any variation of the warrior pose that helps you feel really strong and stable. The boat pose works with core strength and balance. And then we have twists that help to kind of wring out some excess heat and bring in some fresh blood and oxygenation. And supine twists are really great for Aries, so they can't over twist. So that's very common. They want to overdo it a little bit and they can hurt themselves. Supine twists are great for fiery signs. You want to maybe take it a little bit too far. Bridge pose as well, bringing the hips off of the earth and stretching the front body. So some back bends can be appropriate here, especially as they can help release a little pitta heat. So you can think of camel pose, bridge pose, any gentle back bends that will open up the torso, open the heart, and release some heat. And locust pose, as well as any belly down poses, are great for grounding. Also working with these core muscles and the back muscles in tandem are a great approach to strengthen the solar plexus. In terms of pranayama, in the video I go through Shitali pranayama, which helps to cool the mind and keep the body cool as well during during a practice and also afterwards as well. The bija mantra, or the seed sound for the solar plexus, is Ram. Ram stimulates the solar plexus chakra, so you can invite that mantra into your yoga practice or simply do so while you are meditating, as long as that feels right for you. Maybe it needs to be a really strong chant, or maybe it's silent and soft. So we can modify mantra to meet the moment, to meet the energy. I do have some journal prompts for you for this Aries full moon. So I'd like to invite you to carefully consider any current agendas or goals. So think about what you're working towards and the steps that you are taking towards your goals. And in that process, the question is, do you need to bring in more Aries energy or less? In other words, do you need to be more self-centered and selfish? Or do you need to back off a little bit and be more selfless in your approach? So Aries natives are usually the ones that need to back away a little bit and think more, think of the big picture. And then non-natives may need to step forward. especially if they're lacking in that fire energy. Another question to consider: do you need to be more or less headstrong or empowered? So this is really a similar question. Do you need to step up or do you need to step back? And use your intuition. Full moons are a great time to connect with your intuition and just connect with your gut. What is your gut telling you? And is there a way to follow your agenda in a way that serves others as well? So again, looking at that big picture, and think about how you can also lift up other people as you reach your goals, as you unfold your agendas. And then I invite you to visualize achieving your goals in a way so that others benefit too. And this is part of that same question, the previous question. Visualize achieving your goals in a way to benefit others as well, so that everyone is happy. And finally, can you let go of the outcome of your efforts, whatever they may be? Can you let that go? That means letting go of expectations and trust that the universe has your back, that whatever unfolds is the right thing to happen. Trust the universe that all will be well, even if you fall short of the goals that you had in mind for yourself. The universe never falls short for you. So there is deeper meaning in failures, in mistakes, in shortcomings. So that really, those are not mistakes. Okay, moving on to herbal medicine. Of course, with fiery signs, I like to look at anti-inflammatories. Shatavari root in particular, because it's just very soft, grounding, feminine energy root. It is an Ayurvedic adaptogen that is well known as a female reproductive tonic. It's rich in phytoestrogens, that means plant-based estrogens that do support healthy balance of estrogen in the female body. And it's also an anti-inflammatory, meaning that it helps to detox excess heat and nourishes dry tissues like dry eyes and mucous membranes if we have inflammation going on in the gut. So shatavari root, as much as it's used for the female reproductive system, it's used in the digestion as well, and elsewhere as a demulcent that brings and nourishes the water element. And then we also want a good stress buster for our Aries, or really hardcore Aries people. Of course, I think of ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a well-known Ayurvedic adaptogen, but it can specifically lower cortisol levels and support adrenals. It can reduce stress, it aids in sleep, and it supports immune function. All things that can go a little awry when we're taxing our adrenals because of stress or intensity. As always, don't take ashwagandha by itself. It's a heavier herb, very earthy herb that needs some digestive spice like ginger or cinnamon. And you should know that ashwagandha is a heating herb. It does have some fire element in it, and so that's why maybe just a little bit is all that is needed. And then caffeine alternatives as well, because Aries, I feel, are always looking for ways to fuel their fire, fuel their ambition, and sometimes they can lean really hard on caffeine products. So instead, you might look to roasted chicory root. It's very tasty, makes a very tasty dark brew, and it is a prebiotic, so it'll feed your gut microbes. Roasted dandelion root also makes a great dark brew like coffee. It detoxifies the blood and the liver. So that's really helpful in fighting inflammation. And then finally, roasted mucuna beans are also an adaptogen and nourish the nervous system. I always like to put out a few of my favorite tonics. Joyful Heart CCFT has cumin, coriander, and fennel seeds that are all very detoxifying. And this is a very cooling, soothing blend that Banyan makes. And then I always love to drink my herbs. So that's why I focus on herbal tonics. Their ashwagandha latte has burdock root, which is detoxifying. It has the mucuna beans and shatavari, so I really like that blend. That's my personal favorite right now. And then they also have something called Bitter and Bold, which is their coffee substitute. It has both roasted chicory and dandelion roots. It has some carob in there for some chocolatey flavor, and then it has the shatavari in there as well. So I really love all of these. And probably the ashwagandha latte is my favorite right now. I do partner with Banyan because they're a great provider of Ayurvedic herbs here in the US. They do source organically and sustainably, and I personally think that's really important. And I wouldn't partner with anyone else, honestly. Here are some resources for you if you are interested in having your birth chart generated and read. I do focus on the medical aspects of the chart in terms of your constitution, the doshas, which planets are influencing the body-mind system, and how they're affecting digestion and elimination and various symptoms and systems in the body. You can also download my moon calendar and journal. That is a free resource. It'll help you stay on track with full and new moons. You can track your self-care rituals, learn more about the Vedic zodiac signs and seasons, their journal pages, and lots more. So make sure to go back to the blog page for these resources. And also, I have a recipe up there for a coffee substitute as well. Forgot to mention that. And you're welcome to look into the In Her Balance community. That's my online community for those who are looking to balance in their reproductive system, with menstrual health, with inspiration from Ayurveda and yoga, with lots of practitioner support from me and peer connection. So again, you can go to my website for more resources and links to those. And a little bit about me. I am passionate about self-care practices that support women's reproductive health, overall well-being. I am a certified Ayurvedic practitioner, an experienced yoga teacher, and my website is herwellbeing.com. So make sure to check out more resources there. I also have lots more on my blog. Check back every month for more information on full and new moons. That's what I have for you today. If you want, you can get in touch. Here's my email address. Again, my website is herwellbeing.com. And I want to thank you for listening. And I hope to be in touch next month with more inspiration for your full or new moon self-care rituals. Take care.